It's Christmas time. This small business is in danger. There's lots of awkward heterosexuality, and I'm here to review that. Welcome to day 8 of the 12 days of Christmas movie reviews. Today I'll be reviewing A Christmas Crush, starring Cindy Sampson, Robin Dunne, and Chris Violette. In A Christmas Crush, Cindy Sampson plays Addie, an employee at an event planning company who's doing quite well. She's on the rise there, and in her personal life, though, she finds herself developing a crush on her neighbor, Sam. But both her and Sam are a bit too shy and awkward and clumsy, so neither has taken the leap yet to ask the other out on a date. As Addie is progressing along with her event planning and her go-getting life, a new next-door neighbor emerges. His name is Pete, and Pete recognizes her because Pete also went to high school with Addie. Now, Pete was the high school football captain. Addie was just the Glee Club treasurer. What a nerd. So they weren't exactly close, but still Pete was like, let's meet up sometime now that I am your next-door neighbor. Also a neighbor of Addie's is Mrs. Motley, and if you're going to be able to watch this movie in its entirety, your real test is going to come at about the 10-minute mark when Mrs. Motley and Addie are hanging out and two grown adults suddenly sing a new hit song, not in unison at all. That is a song that is absolutely terrible lyrically and auditorily, and was made solely for this movie. The lyrics stink. It's, I should have rewatched it. No, I don't want to. It was something like, when you wish at Christmas, you will fall in love. Anyway, that's the new hit song of the year in this movie, and that is also the underlying theme of the movie, and so this song is going to play many, many times more throughout the movie, and it is horrible. And these two sing along to it, not together in unison near the beginning. Now, if you manage to stick through that, the rest of the plot develops, and now the Christmas wish elements have been established that all of a sudden Addie decides to make a wish. But she thought of Pete during the wish, not Sam, that she would go out on a date and fall in love with Pete, not Sam. Mrs. Motley, as it turns out, is probably some sort of witch. This woman has so much knowledge of spirituality and wishes, and she tells Addie that a Christmas wish means more than any other wish, for who knows why. But either way, the Christmas wish has come into effect, and now Pete is falling in love with Addie and is becoming obsessed with her, even though Addie wanted to be with Sam. Now that Pete is crazy. Pete's Chris Violette, the actor, his whole acting approach to Pete is to have bug eyes constantly, just be insane. Pete's behavior is just stalking, like crazy, insane stalking. That's the wish's effect. Sam, on the other hand, does go out on a date then with Addie, but Sam's approach also to Pete coming into the picture all the time is not to look at the situation and be like, this guy is a lunatic, but rather, oh my god, Addie is also attracted to Pete and is just, Addie, what are you doing? Why are you with that? I can't be with you. It defies logic as to how it's terrible. Anyway, look, if you stick and progress with it, all really the crux of the movie is that Addie must make sure that the Christmas wish gets overturned and that Pete comes to his senses and marries his fiancée. Yes, he's engaged. The wedding is 2 weeks from now. Which also makes no sense that he moved into a new apartment by himself 2 weeks before he's going to get married. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign a 1-year lease. I'm getting married in 2 weeks. That got thrown in, 45 minutes into the movie. And, yeah, so that's the big goal. And for Sam to then fall in love with her because the wish got changed. Anyway, yeah, the whole movie progresses that way with a lot of awkward scenes, extreme cheese. The worst moment is when Pete gets on stage and sings this god-awful song at that big event that Addie was planning. Yeah. So, what's the verdict on A Christmas Crush? This movie is absolutely terrible. I'm convinced that it might as well have just been a very bad local theater troupe doing the movie, or, a really bad improv comedy team. It was just awful in all the realms of cheesiness or inadvertently bad humor that could come from a movie like this. It went well beyond it. Addie, this woman is, I would go into her apartment and she's supposed to be like, oh, I love Christmas, but this was like borderline, this is an insane woman who loves Christmas. I would rather you be a cat lady and have tons of cats than to go into this apartment the way it looked Christmas-wise. Mrs. Motley, as I said, probably a witch. She's coming up with all this superstition stuff out of nowhere about the wishes. And then the commentary of what, if you actually came in here with a sensible mind towards this, its comments are just almost in the realm of misogyny. Like, why must Addie deal with these two men, one of whom is straight up, stalking her? And it's not even that funny in any way. It's just it's really creepy. And he's trying to be funny, but it's not funny. It's just creepy. Like how most interactions for women with men are, probably, that get obsessive over them. So it's just a really bad movie in this genre. It teaches nothing. The acting is awful. When it comes to any big guest star appearances, there are none at all. This had, honestly, the best performance came from the office space that it was in. Pretty nice office space. I don't know how they afforded it for this film. But all I can say is that on a scale of a partridge in a pear tree to 12 drummers drumming, I give A Christmas Crush 2 turtle doves. That's better than A Christmas Bell that I reviewed earlier, and that's only because I actually finished this movie. I don't know how I finished it, but it's absolutely terrible. You don't need... You honestly, it doesn't help your brain. Your brain will get worse as a result of watching this movie. Don't watch it if you're a man, or a woman, or a cat even, because you'll be offended that this woman loves Christmas more than you. It's just absolutely horrible. Well, join me tomorrow for day 9, where I will be reviewing Christmas in Compton. We're gonna make it come tonight.